one of the biggest things that I had to overcome was my patience level, and understanding that, these things just do take time, and knowing and figuring out that it was a lot more challenging than I would have thought. But through that, I've been able to learn the art of patience.
Hey there, and welcome to a brand new episode of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hasseman, and joining me today is a brand new rock star, and she's a rock star in every sense of the word. She's on the member of the PPAI Online 18, which is essentially like a group of amazing influencers in our industry. She's Director of Business Development at BAMCO, Natalie O'Leary. Thanks so much for joining me.
Hello, thank you so much for having me, Kirby. I'm excited to be here with you.
Absolutely. And we were saying, we're just getting a chance to meet really face to face, which is kind of surprising. So let's start at the beginning. Like what project are you working on right now that has you totally fired up, and why?
Oh my goodness. Well, there's actually a couple that I'm excited about, but I think right now, the one that I'm most excited about, I'm actually leading a massive global project for a sales incentive type program for one of my newer clients in the technology space. And so, we're talking about sourcing like 1,300 gifts globally. And so just sort of going through the logistics of how that all works, working really closely with my vendor relations team and our operations team at BAMCO. It's really, it's the size and scope of the project is very fun and interesting, but just the learning aspect and all the things that I'm gaining from this experience are really, really helpful to speak to the global capabilities that we have. So it's really been awesome to be in this spot.
Yeah, congratulations. That's exciting. And I will say that's one of those things that's like, it can't help but stretch you, right? So the next time that you're working on a project like this, you'll be like, oh yeah, I've done that before. But until you
Yeah,
do
and
it,
you'll know who to go to or who to ask. Like that'll be so refreshing because that is challenging. Like not exactly knowing, but luckily I have just a force behind me. So it's been really fun.
that's awesome. Okay. So what are some things that you have struggled with, or maybe in the past you've struggled with, and how do you overcome them?
I think some of the things that I've struggled with, more particularly in the last couple of years, is just, um, you know, figuring out how to really grow your book of business. When I came to BAMCO, I started fresh from the beginning. Did not have any business, and so really trying to figure out how to engage people and prospect and use tools and all the things that I had available to me through my company, and just really trying to utilize all of the tools in my tool belt to start building a book of business was very challenging. And I think one of the biggest things that I had to overcome was my patience level, and understanding that these things just do take time, and knowing and figuring out that it was a lot more challenging than I would have thought. But through that, I've been able to learn the art of patience, and that's really helped me, I feel like, as a person as a whole. So it's been good.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard of quite a few people who have moved spots recently within the industry, and that, once you get to a certain level, it's a different skill set than building it from the beginning. And so I think you do have to sharpen those tools, like you said,
Yeah.
in your tool belt. And so it is a different thing. So that's awesome. What are tips that you give? Because I'm sure you talk to not only clients, but other people in the industry, other people. Like, what tips do you give for growing both maybe personally and professionally?
Oh, man. Well, I think definitely utilizing every single avenue that you can in sales in general. That's for anything that you're trying to sell, whether it's, you're selling promos or selling snow. I don't know. But like you just have to really utilize everything that you have within your reach. And so whether that is talking to friends and family members that, may or may not be able to be a prospect, utilizing things like social media and leveraging any type of free situation, while you're in growth mode. Those are things that I talk to people about all the time, because that's honestly what I did. And, I'm still learning all the time. I certainly don't have it all figured out, but those are things that have really helped me. I'm fortunate that the company that I work for, Bamco, they have a lot of resources for us, and I've just really tried to harness those and use them to my advantage. So whatever you can do, even if it's going online and just reading different sales philosophies, or using podcasts, or using ChatGPT. I mean, whatever it is to learn as much as you can, is what I tell people, or exactly that's what I did.
Yeah, I think that's great advice, Natalie. I think that, sometimes you got to humble yourself sometimes, right? I know I do, where it's like, I don't have to be the smartest person in the room. I need to read up
Mhm.
and I think that is great
Yeah.
advice. And part of that humility is also like going into rooms that you're like, I should be bigger than this. But you're not, nobody is, you know what I mean? That's something I
Yeah.
think that once you get to a certain level, you can struggle with.
Yeah,
At least I
I think
have.
it's fun. I mean, I think it's fun. I'm turning 40 next year, and I've certainly learned probably more than I have in the last 2 years than I have in my entire 13 plus year career. And it's because I've been hungry and just wanted to learn as much as I possibly can. And it's just fun to continue to educate ourselves on everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of learning, who's been a teacher? Who's been your like a best teacher or mentor? And what was a lesson that they taught you that stuck with you?
So this actually came up the other day. I saw something. I think it was Charity post on LinkedIn about mentors in this space, and so I'm happy to give a shout out to someone who's really pivotal in my career path, and that is Sam Cates, who I had found through Promo Kitchen. I reached out to her. I saw that she'd been on all sides of the business. She had been a distributor, a supplier, she'd been a service provider, and really spoke to me. She was a mom. I want to say it's 4 kids, and so I'm like, wow, this lady, she she's a force to be reckoned with. So I reached out. She's very busy lady, but we were able to connect, and she really opened my eyes to the fact that I had a lot to the table, and that um, she helped me see within myself, a lot of things, and that kind of all I needed to understand, like what I wanted to do um, going forward, or what I could really do going forward. And so she's someone I respect and love, and I'm very thankful for. Like your long mentorship, it was a couple of calls, but that's really all I needed to fuel me forward, and it was great.
Yeah. That's a great shout out. Samantha's the awesome. She's amazing. I'm a big fan myself, so I agree
Mhm.
on that one. So final question, you're doing great, Natalie. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this, but what's another organization or creator that's doing good work that you're impressed with and why?
That is a very easy answer. Another creator that I just think to the high heavens of would be Samantha Dimitru, or AKA Merch Girly. Since the moment I realized that she was a person within our industry, I have just been a fan of hers. I think she's doing such an awesome job at taking our industry and bringing it to a broader audience in a really unique and fun way. What you see is what you get with her. The way she talks, the way she presents herself online is exactly who she is. And I know that because fortunately we've been able to become really close and really good friends, which I could go off on another tangent about because it's fun. Like, we lean on each other, and we hype each other up, and we support one another. And it's her, among some other really cool women in our industry, distributors as like myself, along with other suppliers and service providers, like your daughter, for example. And it's just been really fun to get to know her, and I'm just really proud of what she's doing.
So couldn't agree more. Savannah's amazing. And honestly, ironically, it was Jade who turned me on to Savannah. And so one of the things that I really admire about sort of you and Savannah and that whole group is the level of sort of lifting each other up, right? That the collaboration and the pushing each other to do better. And I think we need to see more of that in the industry. So well done.
Good. Well, you shall. More to come. Yeah, I think we're breaking down some. I think we're breaking down some barriers, whether we mean to or not, and it's super exciting and it's refreshing, and I do think it's where we're headed. So I'm glad to be a part of it.
That's awesome. Well, Natalie, this was awesome. We will have to do this again sometime. I really appreciate you
Yep,
taking the time. Okay.
absolutely. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
You bet. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.